Hey everyone, and welcome to the Online Business Academy. I'm here with the amazing Marvin, and we are going to be chatting today about unlocking your potential for LinkedIn,
Yes,
leveraging LinkedIn really. But just a quick little bit about LinkedIn, and to know that we are live here in the studio, and this is the podcast as well. So a little bit about you, Glenn, as far as your history. You were in the police force initially, and you learned quite a lot of skills in the police force, and then you eventually joined corporate. You fell in love with digital marketing in 2010. You joined Surefire Search
hmm
as their sales director, and then kind of left and came back again. You brought back into the company and you did quite a bit of work there, really loved it, but you thought that the model was a little bit, it could have been improved. And so you left and you started the Connector, which was in March last year. So you're coming up for a birthday soon.
absolutely. We've actually just had our first unofficial 12 months of trading. So the official launch was March 12th, 2018, but we took on some beta clients in 2017. So yeah, I was in the police force for 7 years. I left that sort of fairly disillusioned, wasn't really sure if I had any transferable skills, but
Yeah.
pretty quickly found out in the corporate world that a lot of the things that you do learn within the police force and just in and around communicating and people are really, really great skills to have in the corporate world. And so yeah, I brought back into Surefire Search in 2015, and so I'm still a director of Surefire,
Right.
and my partners in there are actually partners in Connector. But unfortunately for them, I pretty much got free reign to go crazy with what we do.
Haha. Which is exactly what you want, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about Connector.
So Connector helps small to medium-sized businesses do a better job of marketing themselves without having to go through expensive agencies. So we know that most small to medium-sized businesses in New Zealand, and there's nearly 500,000 of them, 450,000 small
Yeah.
businesses, and 375,000 of those have got 5 or less employees. Most of them don't necessarily have the budget to be doing all of the things that they could and potentially should be doing when it comes to online marketing.
Absolutely.
So if they've got budget for one thing, that's about as far as it goes. And so around all those other things, what we found is that they just need a couple of things. A little bit of confidence in regards to choosing what the other things are that they should be doing.
Yeah.
A little bit of clarity around the tactics and the strategies and the technical side of things that they can do to actually execute that themselves. And what we've actually found out in probably the second half of this year is accountability. If they're meeting with somebody on a regular basis that is coaching them through on the strategies, the techniques, and the technical support around what they need to be doing, and they know that there is just one or two things that they should be focusing on, they know that, oh God, I'm sitting down with Glenn again next week. I need to get that thing done that we were talking about, because we all get busy being
Oh,
busy,
absolutely. Yeah.
and our work and our businesses take a huge amount of focus away from that. And a lesson I learned many years ago was it doesn't matter what your business is. The mentality that we should be taking into it is we're a marketing business that happens to provide X.
Yeah.
So whether it's a product or whether it's a service, unless you can get that product or service in front of people and tell your story and get those inquiries coming in, your business is destined to fail. So,
Absolutely.
and that came from a car hire company of all things. A guy loved cars. He'd been hiring cars out for 25 years, and he said to me, I love cars, but it took me about 10 years to realize that we need to be a marketing business first
Yeah.
and providing the service second.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to get your business out there. And what better way to do it than social media?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got the platform. So it is a fantastic way of getting out. I think the biggest issue now is the noise, because there's so many people that have cottoned on to the fact that social media is great for them.
Mm-hmm.
Still some that are lagging behind, still some, but they have, and it's great. So, you know, how do you rise above the noise? So what are your tips for that?
My biggest thing is people that are either new to social media or don't necessarily understand social media try and sell on social media the way that they would sell in the newspaper, in radio, on Google Ads. And it's, excuse the terminology, but it's buy my shit.
Yeah.
Whereas social is very, very much more a softer, long-term affinity type approach. So you need to be thinking about your potential customers or your clients and thinking about the challenges, the journey, the things that are happening in their lives. And you need to tailor your messaging, your story, your approach to be very, very much more around them so that they actually get an affinity with you, which is why I'm so passionate about LinkedIn. So we offer a professional service, so it's natural that I should be focusing a good amount of my time and energy in developing our brand in and around the LinkedIn platform.
Absolutely. And you're doing a great job on LinkedIn. Something that you did the other day on LinkedIn, which was quite controversial, and I kind of watched the comments going on there, was you did a cull of your LinkedIn contacts. And when you culled it, you actually had the little video up there and you were showing how you culled. And I thought, I took a step back and I went, oh, that's actually quite brave, but also I wonder what kind of reaction you're going to get. And so you had kind of mixed reactions from people on that. What made you decide to do that? Like, what was your thinking behind that?
Here's one of the things I'm most passionate about is you need to be yourself. And I've made a commitment to, at risk of sounding like a wannabe Gary V, to documenting a lot of the stuff that we do and documenting a lot of the processes that we go through and telling the reasons why and showing people.
Yes.
Because we're all, everyone's too afraid to either disappoint or get things wrong or be too controversial because they may alienate themselves from a particular segment in the market. But here's the thing, and this is where I'm so passionate about LinkedIn. Is for me there's three core pillars to being able to attract people to want to do business with you, and that's likability, it's trust, and it's the value that you bring, which is why I preach the LTV methodology when it comes to brand building and attraction marketing on LinkedIn. So with attraction marketing, it's also for me just as important that those that are never going to have an affinity with me or my company, that we're open about it. It's okay not to want to do business with us. There's 450,000 potential customers that we've got in New Zealand, and I want to work with people that resonate with our methodologies, our mindset, our ethics, and things like that. So if people don't like it and if people don't get it, then those people were never going to probably want to do business with us in the first place. But those people that saw it and went, you know what, I understand your methodology, and I suppose I better explain that as well. So like any form of social media, our feeds are so cluttered. Our feeds get so caught up with everything from all of our contacts, and when you get to a certain number of contacts, there is no physical way possible that all of their content can ever show in your feed all at one time.
No.
And there is no way that your content is going to be shown to every single one of your contacts at any one time. And so the way that the algorithms work is primarily, what I find, is engagement based. So when you haven't expressed an interest and engaged with other people, and if those people have engaged with you, then there is a much greater chance that your content is going to be either shown in their feed and their content is going to be shown in yours. So why have, for want of a better term, why have dead wood in your connection network? I would much rather focus on a quality network of people that I want to do business with. And we shouldn't be afraid of saying, I am in business and I am on LinkedIn to, yes, add value to the community, but if I wasn't getting opportunities to actually do business and to make money, I'd be on Instagram or I'd be on Facebook. and I would reduce the amount of time that I spend on LinkedIn. It's not escapism. I'm there strategically, I'm there tactically, and it works very, very well for me. And that sounds a little selfish and cynical, but the methodology is still about giving first, but the connection cull approach is around making sure that what you give goes to the right people.
Correct. I think for me, LinkedIn is it's a natural progression of that give, get kind of transaction that you have or relationship that you have on LinkedIn. Just recently, introducing one of our contacts went over to Brisbane to set up a company there, and he was looking for somebody in the company. Somebody else from Wellington contacted me and went, "I'm moving to Brisbane. Do you know of any contacts there that I can make for work?" I put them together, and Bob's your uncle. So those are the kind of things that people don't really seem to understand the power of LinkedIn. So that's a give kind of a situation. But I know both of those people will remember me and come back and, do business or ask questions or whatever it is. So it's a wonderful, powerful platform. And I don't think people really get the power of LinkedIn. So tell us what you think the power of LinkedIn really, really is. Give us some examples, stories, things that have happened to you.
I'll start off with an analogy. So, think of a bar.
Yeah.
You walk into a bar, and it's an exclusive club. And if you had the ability and you had a membership to that club, and you could walk in the door, and in that club was every general manager, every CEO, every sales manager, every HR manager, and you could walk in the door, sit at a table, listen to those conversations, understand what those people were talking about, understand what really ticked the boxes for them in regards to what made them tick, what they were interested in, what they were passionate about, and then you could freely start talking with them, rock up to their table, have a sit down, have a drink with them, and start talking to them and build a relationship with them in that club. You know that once you're in that club and you're talking to those people, you step outside of those doors and you meet them somewhere else, they're going to recognize you, and your business is going to come your way if you make that connection. That is LinkedIn. Where else in the world can you go and have free access with no gatekeepers to absolute key critical decision makers and have the opportunity to listen to what they're saying, to observe what they're doing, and to start engaging with them with no fear of somebody shutting you down, and have the opportunity to add value to their lives? Because once you start adding value to their lives, then you become valuable to them, and they will reciprocate. They will send that back, whether it's with an opportunity today, tomorrow, 6 months or 12 months' time. I had a situation just this week where I did some consulting for a distillery that had just set up in the far north about almost a year ago now. And my piece of advice was, don't spend any money on advertising today. You still have a huge amount of work to do to set up your distribution network, validate your offering, get some of these products actually into stores and selling. If you start promoting your product around the country and nobody's stocking it, you may create some demand, but can you even fulfill that demand?
Yeah.
So that's what he did. He went away. He has managed to turn over 6,000 units in 12 months, which is amazing effort for an outfit that's only just set up. And what did he do? When he was ready to then start spending the money, he came back to me and he said, well, there's only one person I really want to talk about this, because you gave me the right advice in the first place. And that was really the genesis of where we set Connector up. Was sick of the old agency model of, I need to sell a box, whether it's I need to sell Facebook advertising, or I need to sell AdWords, or this is the black box that I'm selling. Cool, you've signed up for that. Oh, you need advice around something else? Well, that's another box that I need to sell you on top of it. Well, we should be freely giving advice around what they actually need, not what we have got to sell. So Connector is actually a consulting company where you're buying time and expertise, not a product.
As it should be with everything that you do in the online space, because it really is about the business, and it really is about, where you're taking that business in the future. And you're 100% right. Just another example to add to your example, and this goes to small businesses as well. I had an accountant that particularly had so many people come to her and tell her she has to be on every single channel and she has to be doing this and posting X content and blah, blah, blah. And the first question I asked her is, what do you want to do with this business? And she said to me, Wanita, I just want to work from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I want to spend time with my kids. And the mornings, drop them off at school. 3 o'clock, I want to have time with my kids. I do not want to grow to that extent. And so it's working out what's best for her, for her business, for what she wants to do, not going, oh, you have to post X amount of content, you have to do X amount of things on social. It just doesn't work for somebody like that. So a typical example of look at what it is that people actually need as opposed to,
100%.
Yeah.
And for some people, LinkedIn is not the right platform.
Yeah.
For some people, they are great, they've got a great visual product, and Instagram is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Or Facebook ads, or, there's so many different opportunities and different channels that people can be using, and that's where we flip things around. And I think you made a really, really great point there around what do you actually want out of this. So I tend to take a step back right at the start before we engage with anybody, and so we'll forget the marketing piece. What are your actual business goals? What do you want to achieve out of this business? And then it comes down to a number of things. Number one is your capacity. So do you have what capacity do you have to actually take on more work? And then there is appetite, because if you've got appetite which is greater than your capacity, and you've got the ability to then go out and create more resource to fulfill, then that's great. The two things that most people haven't got their head around is capability and budget. We don't know how much we can spend, or we've only got X amount to spend and we don't know where to spend it for the budget piece. And the capability piece is they are so scared of trying to do things themselves, and there is so much confusion and so many different tactics out there that they just need a little clarity and direction around what is that one or two things that we could be doing either ourselves, done by me, or with somebody else just giving us a little nudge in the right direction, walking beside us. And when it comes to LinkedIn, consistency, frequency are two of the most important things. And the other, even probably most important thing, is engagement and making it about other people. Because when you make it about them, and I'll keep on coming back to it, it's a little bit like Dale Carnegie.
Exactly,
Is people love talking about themselves. People love to hear their own voices, and people, if you have a conversation with somebody and you're genuinely interested in what they're doing, how they are, what their challenges are, and then you can chip in with a little bit of value at the end of it, they will remember that conversation, and they will remember you 10 times over than if you walk into a conversation and say, this is what I do, and I think that you need it because you're not doing this, this, and this. That's selling. That's not attraction marketing.
No.
Attraction marketing is making yourself attractive by adding value to the relationship.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about it, making yourself attractive, and also the likability piece, right? And I'm actually going to go here to physical, voice, face, etc. There are so many people that are scared of video on LinkedIn. Like, really, really afraid of it. And it was funny because you said people like to hear their own voice. Yes, when I think it's when it, when we're talking one-on-one, but suddenly when you put them on a video, it's like, oh God, I hate my voice.
Yep.
Oh, I look terrible. I sound terrible. How do you coach people? How do you combat that? How do you get people to think, actually, there are people that will like you on camera no matter what, and they will want to hear what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your advice to these people that really struggle with video on LinkedIn?
As corny as it sounds, and as often as people say it, it's the just start thing.
Yeah.
You will be amazed at the support, the reaction, and the amount of people that reach out to you after you actually do start.
Yeah.
And I say, if you're happy, if you're 40% happy with how your first few videos go, push the button,
Yeah.
post it, and wait for the reaction, because you'll be really, really pleasantly surprised. We had a great case in the last LinkedIn course that I did, a lady by the name of Susan Albury, who had never done a video before in her life. She's a Yorkshire lass, and she was so self-conscious about her voice, and she thought that her voice would be hard to understand and annoying. And she posted her first video, and everyone went, yes! It's so great to hear from you, and your voice is so distinctive, and da-da-da-da-da, and it stands out, and I resonate with the message. And she's been unstoppable. She's just got this ball of excitement now, going out there and sharing her story and telling what she does, and she's got so much more exposure because she's just got that confidence now to take that next step. And I think to get that, again, it comes down to frequency and consistency.
Yes.
So consistency leads to competency. So if you're consistently doing something, it'll lead to competency. And the confidence comes from the competency. So I still don't like the sound of my voice. As much as people go, well, you never shut up. But I'm confident that what I'm doing is the right thing.
Yeah.
So I'm 46 years old. I'm 18 kilos heavier than I was 2 years ago. I'm not happy with my physical being, and I don't think I look like this bronzed god, that, should be out there on camera and doing these sorts of things. But that's not real life, right? Having this Insta life is not real life.
No.
And again, it comes down to that thing of, as everyone talks about when it comes to social media, authenticity and attraction marketing. I don't care, right? If 95% of the market look at me and go, I don't like his voice, I don't like his message, he's a fat middle-aged guy pushing his wares, living in Remuera, driving a whatever. If there's that 5% of the market that go, you know what, I resonate with what you say, and I'm attracted to what you're doing, I'm going to do business with you. Then you end up in this amazing happy place, surrounded by people that are like-minded, that want to do business the way that you think business should happen, and you're not stuck dealing with people that you're always going to fight with because there isn't that human connection.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to me, a simple mindset of doing good things with good people that resonate with you.
Absolutely. And I love that you've said that because it is. I mean, you can switch off social media. So if you don't like somebody's message, or you don't like the way they look or speak, or just switch off. They're not the person for you then. And that's okay. That's absolutely fine. But for those people that are out there and they are wanting to get on video and they're a little bit scared, I also love the fact that you said that there's a whole community that supports you.
Yeah.
And I know personally, when I did my first video, I was so frightened about 4, 5, 6 years ago, like really, really scared. And that first comment that somebody goes, oh, you look great, or oh, you sound fine, and you're going, oh, sure,
One last thing on that is just have the confidence to give it a crack.
Yeah. I'm fascinated with your posting at the moment. So, because because here's the thing, LinkedIn, everybody goes, look, LinkedIn is about, business, 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 right? But you've gone and said, no, LinkedIn is actually about the whole person. It's about me. It's about me being authentic. And so not only do you pop up and post all the, the business stuff, but you're doing a challenge at the moment. And you're taking people on this lovely challenge of yours. So I'd love you to tell everybody a little bit about that. And so why did you, first of all, the challenge is fantastic, but why did you decide to put that on LinkedIn? Because because some people would go, this is quite controversial, this shouldn't be on LinkedIn, this should be somewhere else. And I love it on LinkedIn. I think it just gives a whole view of who you are.
Look, there will always be those people that say, hey, this isn't Facebook, no cat video. And I'm one of those people that go, no cat videos on LinkedIn, please, never, don't do it. But
we're looking at everybody in the studio.
When it comes down to it, we're people first. And my journey is no different than so many other people my age.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said before, I'm middle aged. I'm 46 years old. I'm overweight at the moment. I used to be very, very active. The founder of a company, working ridiculous hours, and my physical health, my mental health has taken a hit over the last year just because I've been so damn busy working so hard. And it's really important that people know that they're not alone in what they do. So I'm just taking it upon myself to, again, document that sort of journey, trying to get back to physical and mental sort of fitness. And I use fitness, especially on the mental side of it, and as opposed to mental health, because mental health to me indicates, there's a problem. It's a sickness. It's things like that. But mental fitness, if you have an attitude around fitness, it's around something that you work at every day to make little tweaks and improvements to keep yourself in good shape.
Yeah.
If you think about it as mental health, then it's okay. Well, I've got myself into a position where I'm depressed or I'm suffering from anxiety and I need medication or I need this. But we shouldn't need to wait until we get to that stage to be working on our mental fitness and the way that we think about things. Today, when we leave here, I've got a bunch of other people from LinkedIn together, and we're going out to Piha. We're doing a surf lesson, having lunch at the Piha Cafe, and going for a walk up to the Kirikiri Falls as a LinkedIn Mental Health Day.
Beautiful.
And we're going to do that once every 6 weeks, find a different activity to take a day out of the office. We can still network, we can still talk business, but it's removing yourself from the mental stresses of day-to-day grind. And if that's controversial, well, so be it. But
I think it's absolutely amazing, and I love the fact that you're actually taking your connections online, offline.
Yeah.
Because wherever possible, I think it's great if you can do that. If you can actually meet these connections in real life and just have the conversations and get to know each other face to face, because it is a little bit different online. And I think that's what some people struggle with, is how do you really project your personality online, because you're so multifaceted, right? You're so multifaceted. You can be humorous in this situation and totally silly in this situation and totally businesslike in this situation. And you are multifaceted, and people get to know some parts of you, but not everything unless they actually meet you.
Yeah, and so 2 things in response to that. The first thing is one of the things that I teach in and around LinkedIn is those digital connections are great.
Yeah.
But they're worth nothing if they don't move into real relationships.
Yeah.
And you can foster really powerful relationships online.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if you want to make good money and if you want to make real relationships and form real connections with people, you can't stop at the online. You need to start fostering those relationships to take them offline. Get that face-to-face. Get in front of those eyeballs and actually connect as human beings.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, when you're talking about that multifaceted piece, one of the things that I thought was my greatest asset growing up, and even in the police force, was I considered myself this sort of cultural chameleon. I could walk into a situation and I could read a room and I could go, cool, I need to be this person today. Oh, I need to behave in this particular way to be able to resonate with that audience, that whole pick your audience piece. And then mimic what I thought they would resonate with. And so, in essence, the first probably, 35 years of my life was a scam. Because I was trying to be what everybody else wanted and not being myself. And it wasn't until I realized that, as my connections grew, as my network grew, and I would walk into an event and there was, this person that I'd met over here and that person over there, and then you get 10 people in the room, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
So, one day I just had to sort of turn around and went, you know what? Stuff it.
Just be myself.
I've got to just be myself.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, well, it's actually not my loss because you need to grow as a person and you need to be the best version of yourself to truly succeed and be happy. And that doesn't necessarily come down to finances. And that's a big thing that I think a lot of salespeople need to learn. And I know there's pressures on them and around, you got to hit your KPIs, you got to hit your numbers, you need to understand what they want and ask these questions and sell them what we've got and flip it so that they think that they want it. But you can still do that by being yourself because they're buying the person first and the solution second, because you can guarantee that there are 2 or 3 other people pitching and they will go with the person that they resonate with the most, probably 7 out of 10 times.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of sales, I think, and even if you were a salesperson before social media came along, some of the stuff that we trained in sales was it isn't about pushing your product. It isn't about trying to make the sale. It is about listening to what the person is saying, understanding what they really need, and then working out how the product helps them with their need.
Yep. Solution-based sales.
Yeah. So it's really listening, like it's listening. And I think the online space is exactly that. It's about listening and putting yourself out, so engaging listening. And people don't even think about online listening. They don't even think about how do you listen online. It's just, I look at things and I answer, but you are actually doing listening.
Yep. In my training programs, I preach this all the time. You need to listen and engage 5 to 10 times more than you actually post.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you definitely, I love that you walk your talk, Glenn. You really, really walk your talk on LinkedIn. So I do want to say, if there's one more tip that you want to give anybody, either starting out on LinkedIn or kind of struggling with LinkedIn, what would it be? And then we're going to close off.
Engagement first. So you don't need to be this exuberant, overconfident person that is going out there posting these massive thought pieces.
Yeah.
Listen, but don't be a LinkedIn lurker.
Yeah.
All right? Don't just be that person that sits on the sideline and uses it like a news feed. If you see something that resonates with you, if you see somebody post or comment that you think, I really want to reach out and start talking to that person, or there's an opportunity with that company, just start a conversation. You don't need to start by posting. Yeah. Just start getting involved in conversations, and it's safe from your keyboard.
Exactly.
And once you've got confidence engaging, then you're going to get confidence in actually typing stuff out and having an opinion. And it is important to have an opinion.
Absolutely.
So then transfer that confidence that you're getting around engaging with posts and comments and turning them into more commentary style posts. And so if you can add commentary, the thing that most people struggle with is telling their story because it's quite personal and they think, well, why is anyone interested in me? But if you can start off with educational posts as one that you can really do quite simply, add value. Commentary, so if there's something topical in your industry that should be talked about, talk about it, but add your 2 cents of value.
Yep.
And the third one would be kudos. So every time you have a meeting with somebody, every time you see somebody do something really, really well, make it about them. Share a post, take a photo of the outside of their building, or take a photo together saying, I just had a great session with Wanita and we were talking about LinkedIn and the upcoming social media conference, and push it out there. That person is going to value that interaction that you've had with them. So make it about them, start softly, and just build your confidence.
That is absolutely great advice. As always, Glenn, you're always giving fantastic advice. I would like to say thank you so much for coming in and doing this podcast with us. It's been a fantastic podcast, and I hope that every single person that listens to this gets value out of it in some way, shape, or form. And
Always
I will
happy to
put the links in so that people can link with you and everything else. For the live, guys, if you're out there and you want to come to the social media conference, www.socialmediaconference.co.nz, Glenn Marvin. This guy is going to give you so much value in his little workshop that he's doing. It's about an hour and 15 minutes that Glenn is going to be taking you through LinkedIn and really just talking about the LTV and showing you how you can leverage LinkedIn to the best possible advantage. And he's not going to be going through basic things that you can go and look at online. He's really going to give you value in this workshop that you can walk away with and go, yes, I can do LinkedIn, and I can connect with people, and I can grow, and I can have this amazing relationship.
Absolutely. I want to make this as interactive and as fun learning experience as possible. I'm not a person to stand at the top of the room and preach for an hour.
Yeah, brilliant. So go and book your tickets. Come and watch Glenn.
Can't
And
wait.
Glenn, thank you so much for taking the time and coming into the studio. We really appreciate it.
No worries. Always happy to help.
Thank you.